our consciousness leaves our physical form and rejoins source. Today I'm going to talk about astral projection, Hinduism, and aliens. We're still in keeping with some of the subject matter here today, but I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump straight into the story, and I'm going to layer what I believe is fundamentally the crucial understandings of your particular incarnation here. So, I was told to post my experience here. So here you go. And the title of this is They Told Me the Meaning of Life. So, what I'm about to tell you is based off my own experience and understanding of what I've been made to understand by these beings. My intentions are not meant to sway any beliefs you have, as our spiritual growth is a journey of the self. I concur. During my first encounter, I was meditating in order to connect with the energies around me, both in the earth and all around me. I was able to see the whole of my being form blue-white roots of energy and spread throughout the ground beneath me and connect to all living things around me. I could see their life energies surrounding them being connected by webs of light between all things. I could feel my consciousness bleed out into the roots and webs. I was able to connect to them and become one with them. I could feel their life within me and my life within them. I became one with all things around me. And I wanted to connect with more than that of earth. So I stretched my consciousness out into the sky and let myself bleed out into the cosmos. Within seconds, I saw a white hole of energy open up in front of me. It was a circle of white light surrounded by a golden aura. And inside this, I witnessed three beings standing in some sort of large flowing metallic spherical object. Wherever they were, everything was white. I could not see a floor, walls, or ceiling. It was just absolute white. I immediately had the sense of wanting to go inside this portal, for lack of a better word, but I did not know how. In that moment, it seemed that they had heard me, because next I could feel their arms and hands around me, and I could feel them separating my spiritual self from my physical self. When I was there with them, I had lost all sense of time. I felt as though there was a weird disorientating sense of being somewhere where you can't tell if it's night or day, and you don't know what time it is. These beings helped me orientate myself and made me feel somewhat more comfortable. They told me they were the keepers. They were tall, wore elegant robes of gold and white, with strange shoulder apparatus. They had large bulbous heads with pointed chins, large dark eyes, long arms, and long necks. They told me I was in their dimension, which was higher in existence than ours, and are able to insert themselves into our realm through the object I saw. It was large, silvery, metallic, and looked like it was flowing. It had strange colored light orbs flowing within it. I could react to these beings' movements like it was their own. I asked many questions, but these answers were the most important to me. So I felt like I should share them with you. So I guess here we go into the lessons that these 4D or 5D beings are imparting upon this particular soul. What humans call God is absolute consciousness of all sentient beings. Living through the past, present, and future, what we call life is accidental and therefore sacred. These beings know that and have been watching us since our beginning. They have introduced ideas to our ancestors in the hopes that they would use the knowledge to further our species evolution and take the next steps towards true potential. There is no divine creator. There is only the chaos of the universe itself, an endless cycle of birth and rebirth. The universe does not have a beginning or end, and will always die and be reborn. It always has and always will. This so far runs parallel to my understandings of, and a lot of what Hinduism really teaches. One of my favorite sayings in the Bhagavad Gita is the idea that when Krishna is talking to Arjuna, Krishna being, let's say, an incarnation of God, well, they're both incarnations of God, but let's say Krishna as a deity, he says that when you worship other gods, you worship me. When you worship the Islamic God, when you worship Allah, when you worship Yahweh, you worship me. You worship me. And the idea is that the idea of ideology in terms of religion, really, it falls to the feet of the divine cosmos, the chaos of life, the chaos of absolute consciousness. That's what we refer to when we speak about God, when we speak about, well, there's no other word that comes close to that one. Death is a human construct. Again, I completely agree. It's used to help us understand the cycle of being within this universe. When our bodies physically die, our consciousness leaves our physical form and rejoins source. And our pure form of consciousness can then choose another form to incarnate through space and time. This is Hinduism 101, right? Another great quote by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. He says to Arjuna, "You will discard your body like you discard the clothes you wear every day." Crazy, crazy, crazy thought. You will discard your body like the clothes you discard at the end of every day. In the morning, you don a new pair of garments, should you choose to. Yeah, there is some contention about the role that you can have in your next life. If you haven't paid up your karmic debt at the end of this incarnation, you may have to go and learn it again. Or some people choose to be spiritual teachers and spirit guides and, may take the place of some of these beings as guardians for the souls on earth. So yeah, when our bodies die, our consciousness then leaves our physical form and rejoins source of all beings. And our pure form of consciousness can then choose another form to incarnate through space and time. Based on the vibrational state of our physical being, our spiritual resonance at the time of our death, meaning if we were good or not, it determines whether or not we ascend or descend into our next cycle of life. Another great saying I love from Krishna is, "Those who remember me in the hour of death will reunite with me. And those who do not may be, I wouldn't say condemned, but their karma or dharma may be to live another incarnation." So if you can remember God in the hour of your death, you reunite with him. That's where the notion of heaven and hell throughout many of the of our world's religions come from and have been completely misunderstood. They're simply higher and lower dimensions of existence. I believe that personally. I know a lot of you believe, or some of you believe in physical places. I still believe this is coming from an egoic level. I think if you have an understanding of 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D realities, then you can maybe palette the idea a little bit better. Let's say if you're a 2D being, you have no understanding of the third dimension, meaning it goes above your present experience. So until you can kind of have a concept of it, we can't experience 4D things because we're not, well, there may be an argument that we're 4D beings depending on whether or not you can astral travel. But most people are naive to this other dimension in which they can experience. This is a never-ending cycle of being for the sole purpose of gaining knowledge and understanding the self in order to achieve the highest level of consciousness. If anyone has similar experiences, let me know. Let's see if people have had similar experiences. Is it weird that I feel like I already knew this from intuition? I have never achieved this level of consciousness like you have experienced, but I have always been very intuitive. Sometimes you have to think about things as raw as they are, and the answer comes within the silent whisper within your mind. The higher self and the silvery metallic thing resembles biblical accuracy of angels. Interesting. There is also the theory of recollection of Socrates and Plato, reference to Akashic records as well. My interpretation of this is really a Hindu idea, and again, why I've said many, many times. By the way, guys, I'm going to echo what this particular creator has said here in relation to the fact that I never feel I should be in a place, or I will never, ever try to attempt to sway you from your particular religion. If it's giving you the value that you need in your life, who am I to tell you otherwise? And it's not like you would believe me anyway. I would just be cautious in terms of your dogmatic, maybe, reaction to it. Meaning, sometimes we can get lost within the confines of our religion, that we fail to kind of open ourselves up to, different possibilities. And I think that's really limiting. I like to see religion as a particular path to God, right? But there's not one path to God. There are several paths to God. And that's why I love, and I shared with you the first quote of Hinduism, of the Bhagavad Gita, of Krishna. When you pray to other gods, you pray to me. And when you worship other gods, you worship me. We're all doing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. But to But to place this kind of ego, this human ego on things and say, no, this is our God, this is the only way, it's very kind of low IQ thinking. But this idea here, of course, is just a theory. It'd be foolish of me to say it's facts, but it's certainly a philosophy that gives me a lot of comfort and has certainly been true in my experience of life so far. I'm interested if this resonates with you, if it doesn't, and if it doesn't, I'd love to hear your interpretation on what you feel your grand purpose is in this life. Speak soon.